Hi, I'm Dan. This is Vinyl Fury, here again to show some new additions and some favorites from the collection that I have listened to recently. And I guess we'll just start with Record Store Day, which was, I guess, last week. The last time I remember waiting in line for a store to open on Record Store Day was 2016. And since then, I've rarely gone to a store on Record Store Day because there's rarely been something that I was actually really interested in to pay an inflated price for or wait in line for. The selections most years lately just haven't been of interest to me. This year there was one record in particular that I've been waiting to see on vinyl for years, pretty much ever since I started collecting over a decade ago, and it was finally coming this Record Store Day. And it's listed as a RSD exclusive. I hope that is only for the colorway. But I still didn't want to, go wait in line. I knew it was going to be at least $35. And even though I really wanted it, I still wasn't 100% sure that I really needed to pay that much to have it. So Saturday came. I was just coming home from somewhere else, so I drove by Music Millennium here in Portland, Oregon, which I go to quite often. It was after 11 o'clock. The line was still down the street. I could see at least around 100 people still waiting in line. I'm sure most of them were trying to get that Taylor Swift record. Them and a few other stores that I've seen online have said it was the biggest day of their store's history. It sure seemed that way. I'm sure it has a lot to do with that particular record. But when I drove by, I was like, no way. I'm not going to wait in that line to probably not even get it and wade through those people. So I was close enough to another store, which I figured would have less traffic. Drove by there, line around the block. All right, forget it. I'll maybe go later today, or I'll just go tomorrow morning. So I go to Music Millennium the next morning. It's not there. I called around. We don't have it. We sold out of it yesterday. We didn't get that many copies. I heard that a few times. Saw that online. I got the last one. I only saw a few copies. There's 4,000 of them, supposedly, in the US. How did it go so fast? Well, I'm sure it was people buying it to sell it online, because I've seen a lot of copies online afterwards. But on, I think it was Tuesday, I had happened to come across an Instagram post from a store who's primarily been in the used record business for years, called Vinyl Resting Place in North Portland. Rarely go there. I just happened to see that they participated in RSD for the first time. And later on Saturday or Sunday, they said they still had some copies left of Scott Weiland 12 Bar Blues, his one and only solo album that he released in 1998. And this is what I was looking for. So it's Tuesday. I thought, I've called everywhere else. I can't find it. I Googled for any sort of, distant record store that had it online afterwards. Nobody had it. Discogs was already up to $80, $90, $100. Most of them were overseas. So I thought, well, it can't hurt to call and check. So I call like a half hour before they open. He looks around. Yes, we have one copy left. I say, all right, I'm leaving work and I'm coming to get it. So thanks to them, I did manage to get what I think is likely the last copy in Portland. So like I said, it's supposed to be an RSD exclusive. It's a double LP, gatefold. We got one, people are calling frosted blue, quite nice. And the second is a green, kind of a darker green. And side note, I can swear every time I pick up the green one, I think, is this just the slightest bit lighter than the other one? It's weird. Here's the hype sticker, 25th anniversary. It says cut from the original master tape, which, as far as marketing jargon goes, that's kind of the best version of it, because it's not just remastered from the original tape, which could mean captured to digital, whatever. It says cut from the tape, so That's awesome. I really enjoyed this when I first heard it. I was 14, going on 15. I loved Stone Temple Pilots. I was sad that they had, at the time, broken up, but I was very intrigued by a solo record. And it's very eclectic. It's got many styles. Scott's known for his voice having different tonalities over the years, from like the earlier, lower, growlier to the higher, maybe more Beatles-influenced sound. All of that is here, one way or another. It's definitely 60s inspired. Got the Coltrane Blue Train homage on the cover. Always like that. Definitely Beatles, David Bowie, psych, folk, as well as like fuzzed out riffs at times. A bit of like industrial electronic stuff that was popular in the mid to late 90s. And it's all good, I think. I still enjoy it. It was great to finally get it in this form, which I prefer. And it was well done. Sounded good. The CD always seemed a bit bright, a bit, bit sharp in the mids and stuff. And this was less so. A little bit more relaxed sound. The vocals sounded great right in the center. Nice separation. I'd say all the way around, fantastic. Still too expensive, but we're well past the point of that ever getting better, I think. So, like I said, hopefully that's not the only vinyl pressing it's ever going to see. I said 4,000, that's what the RSD list said. The Rhino press release said 7,500. I'm assuming the rest of those were in Europe. So there should be a lot of copies out there. You shouldn't have to pay $100 for it, but that's already the way it is. So hopefully it gets a reissue, black vinyl, at some point down the line. And one that, I was curious about, but not quite sure that I would go for, is the Dismemberment Plan Change from 2001. Awesome alternative indie rock band from the DC area. It's recorded at Inner Ear in Arlington. In the gatefold, the liner notes are built in. It's pretty cool. So this was initially put on vinyl in 2014. I got that. It was all right. Sounded okay. It's pressed at United, which I don't like. Overall, I remember, I think sometime last year, I was listening to it, and then I put on the CD, and it sounded better. So I sold it. This came around, I saw some reviews on Discogs. Said it sounded good, and I saw that from the Dead Wax, that it was pressed at RTI. So it was a little more intriguing. I didn't really expect to see it, but they still had several copies left. So I went for it. I do love the album, and I had hopes that it would be a better version. It definitely is. It sounds better. Obviously a much better pressing. You got that RTI frosted sleeve. It's on a blue sky vinyl, which is quite nice. Matches the artwork and the labels well. Definitely an improvement over the previous version. And this is not hard to get. On Discogs, I'm seeing it for $30 to $35 shipped. So yeah, if you're still interested in this, it's available and well worth it. So on a different trip to Music Millennium, I came across another copy of Material Control by Glassjaw, one of my favorite heavy bands ever. This was a second pressing, at least, that was pressed on colored vinyl. Here's the gatefold. This is a 180 gram pink pressing. And I originally got just the standard black version, but it's numbered and it's signed by Justin Beck and Daryl Palumbo. Totally happy with that. But I saw this and it was $10. Vinyl was perfect. Everything was fine. This goes for like $30 on Discogs for some reason. $10. Why not? On that first pressing, this is the cover, and this was the back, and they flipped it for this. So yeah, this came out in, 2017? They hadn't put out a record. They put out a couple EPs, but not an album since 2002. It was awesome to hear new music from them that was still very enjoyable. I really dig this record. This one is from the collection that I pulled out, cleaned. The fantastic DJ Shadow second album, Preemptive Strike, which I think is all stuff that came before Introducing, if I'm not mistaken. All songs contained on this album were previously released, although the only way to hear them was by obtaining import copies. I wanted to make them available to those who enjoyed Introducing. Yeah, there's copyright dates for 93 and 95 on here. So I've had this for a while. I bought it used. Still sounds great. Great music. Samples, electronic, hip-hop beats, stuff like that. If you know, you know. And another new addition from digging in the discount jazz bins. This is ECM record. Terj Ripdahl, I believe is how you say it. And David Darling. David Darling, I've had something by him before. This is called EOS from 1984. And the first track is like this electric guitar solo type thing. Almost Jimi Hendrix vibes. And I was like, huh, not what I was expecting. But then it goes into what the album really is, which is more avant-garde, ambient violin, electric violin, kind of spacey, very cool sounding stuff. It's labeled as jazz. I don't really consider it jazz. And ECM is kind of more nebulous than that. It's kind of in between jazz and like Windham Hill style, instrumental, contemporary, classical even, I might say. It was very cool. And of course, being ECM, it's still super clean, near mint, sounded great. I will definitely listen to this again. If I can find a sample to put at the end of the video, I will. All right, that's it for this round. Once I've spun another handful of records, either new or old to me, I will come back and show and tell again. So thanks for watching, take care, and enjoy your music.